Hey, everybody, happy Friday. Okay, it's Friday. We're going to hop on the train on a Friday and have a little ride, okay? We're just going to talk about some things. That's all. It's trending topics, okay? And this trending topics is dedicated to decisions define your destiny. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you decide to come to work late every day, they might decide to fire you. Decisions define your destiny, okay? If you under 18, living with your parents, and you want to act up, those decisions can define your destiny. So we got to give a Jonathan Majors update. The text messages that they read in the court today, oh, no, it didn't go in his favor. And then you know what? He should have had he needed a coach that helps you, tells you how to behave in your demeanor while you in the courtroom. Every time they saying something that is kind of not in his favor, he holds his head down. Then he peek over at the jury, see how they feeling, and he put his head back down. I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but Jonathan, these decisions that you made may end up defining your destiny. Then we got to talk about this Detroit mother. She went food shopping. Oh, shut up, Juice. Stop it. Today's sermon is decisions define your destiny. Come on. Let the church say amen. Okay. All right. Come on now. Let the church say amen. Decisions define your destiny. Come on now. So then we got this Detroit mother. She in the supermarket with her 1-year-old in the cart. You know the cart, you put the baby in the cart. And she didn't have enough money for her groceries. She probably was getting a little frustrated, a little upset. She clocked the a grocery clerk out. They came and locked her up. Yes, they did. We're going to talk about it. Because decisions define your destiny. Just like that, she decided to go after this clerk, punch her in the face, and now she got cleaned up. Yes, she did. Then in Mississippi, see that Carly Russell, that decision she made to lie, it distracted people from looking for real missing people. At the same time that whole Carly Lee Russell mess was going on, this mother in Mississippi, allegedly, her husband, who they had a restraining order against, his wife went missing. She went missing. And they didn't cover the case because they was too busy with that Carly Russell nonsense, was taking over the news. So both families was in the court today to deal with that situation. They misunderstood the judge or something, but I know they got the blowing hands. A whole big brawl at the courthouse. Yeah. And now people getting locked up. Decisions define your destiny. Now listen, people, it's Friday night. Stay close to the topics. Hear what the discussion is about the topics. And stand your ground. Okay? Because I'm going to stand mine. Now I know my conductor out there in the chat, she done gave y'all the warning. Buckle your seatbelts. I'm not responsible. Y'all ain't going to be suing the diva. No, you're not. Y'all already cheat the diva. Y'all definitely ain't going to sue me. Hit the like button, people. And what do I need in that chat? Come on, share in 120 seconds. I'm trying to tell you. What do I need in that chat? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics. And the theme is decisions define your destiny. Before you go cursing somebody out, think about it. Before you send that text, realize that text will last forever. Before you leave the voicemail, think about it. Before you do a FaceTime with somebody, they could be recording your FaceTime. People are slick. Watch what you say and what you do. The streets is mean. Now let me board this train. Come on now. Hey, Leo. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Diva. Choo choo.
Come on now, choo choo. Hey, Chanel.
Hello.
Hey, Bunny.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you? Nice to see you. Hey, Felicia, Dustin, and Julius. We're in the building.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, Diva.
Hey.
And don't be cheating the Diva. Look here, stop playing, y'all. Stop
playing.
Don't be cheating the Diva. I'll be blocking all the people out here.
Word.
Come on now. Listen, I see some people trying to get on the train, but the train is packed. The platform is packed for a Friday night. We haven't had a Friday night packed platform in a while.
Hi, Wayne.
But we're here to get into it, okay? Yes, Wayne. Okay. All right. Okay. He said hi, Wayne. Okay. Now listen. Let's go ahead and start with this Jonathan Majors, because this thing is like ping pong back and forth. Let's get into the story because he's still in court, y'all, out there in New York City. He decided to get with this chick, wanted her to be Michelle Obama or Coretta Scott King, and he got himself Amber Heard. So Jonathan Majors got the S word. How do people play with that? That's not nice. Don't play with that word. That's not nice, right? So text to accuser read in court. So they was trying to block them from being read. But for some reason, they allowed them today. And woo. So Jonathan Majors' text message to his accuser, Grace Barbie, are being read out loud in court Friday. And in them, he references some physical violence during a London incident that happened 6 months prior to the one for which he's standing trial. They're trying to show a track record of him. Like, what did the Don say last night? Keep your hands to yourself. So they're trying to show a track record of him not keeping his hands to himself. That's what they're doing. Okay. So in September 2022, text Major says they will ask you questions. And as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect something. Oh, that ain't good. Jabari replied, I will tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep. And I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you? During the fourth day on the stand, Grace started to read the text out loud in court, but broke down in tears. And Assistant DA Kelly Galloway had to continue reading the exchange. This is bad. This is bad, Jonathan. This is bad. The messages apparently refer to an incident that happened while the couple was in London. The judge has already ruled the details of what happened as not admissible in this trial, but did allow their text messages about the incident because they seem to describe conduct that is intrinsically interwoven with the charged acts. Remember, Majors is on trial for alleged New York City attack on Jabari on March 23, when the thin couple had a heated exchange in the back of a taxi, and she claims he struck her as they fought for his phone. So this is also going to go to the point of, she lied to, they're going to say she lied to the police initially because she promised them in the past, I would never tell on you. I love you. I'm here forever. I'm here to stay. Jonathan, this is not good. The September 2022 text also include a portion where Major threatens to take his own life. He wrote, last night I considered unaliving myself versus coming home. I need love too. Or maybe I'm such a monster and horrible man I don't deserve it. And I should just unalive myself. In this way, my existence is miserable. I want to not be here. Javari eventually told Major in text she would not go to the doctor and said she understood his fear about an investigation. When he continued threatening unaliving himself, saying I will probably unalive myself, is not really contemplating anymore, she told him she would have to tell someone if he continued saying such things. While the texts were read in court, Majors reportedly had his head down. And when they finished reading them, he glanced at the jury. I need somebody to come in here and tell this man how to react in the court when stuff is being said. This ain't good. Leo, your thoughts?
Nah, this ain't good. This ain't good. This ain't good at all. This ain't good at all. I really wanted to believe, just to tell the truth, I really wanted to believe that this relationship was 50-50 toxic. But I don't think so anymore. I really don't. I feel like she signed up for the fool. She signed up for an actor, someone who is established. She signed up for that, and they got this. And they want to let that go. She said, I was down for it. I ain't trying to tell on you.
Right.
Says he is a violent person. I mean, it says that he is an emotionally disturbed person. And she was ready to ride the train all the way through.
To the end?
Yeah. Until she couldn't. Until she couldn't. Oh, this is not looking good, Diva. This ain't looking good at all. And I don't see him getting out of this one. It's the text messages in real time that was going on in this relationship when this was happening. Real time. This is a very bad relationship. He got himself caught up. Am I doubting now that it's some physical things happen between them? No, I'm not doubting it anymore. It's still a question of whether or not she contributed to things being physical, because these are the text messages that she is displaying that support her case. Right.
Okay, I hear you. Okay.
That support her case. So there's other text messages out there too that may show that she put hands as well. So, we'll see. But at this end, it ain't looking good.
It ain't looking good. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I still stand the way I stand before. His past don't mean his future. Okay, that man may have got healing within those 6 months of those text messages. I'm not gonna say one way or the other. I still need proof, because I know in this incident, I don't believe he put hands on her to the level she said. Because here it is, you left here. You went partying with some strangers you did not know. You was drinking, everything else. You don't call the police. He does, because he wants you out of his life. And now all this is coming out because they told you if you don't testify, they're going to lock you up. So something in the buttermilk ain't clean.
Ooh, E.
Sorry, I had to tend to the baby. Hi.
Hey.
Most people, I think I heard while I was in and out, people saying, this isn't good. Well, absolutely. Hell yeah, it's good. When one of the 13.2 million get exposed and found out, oh, happy day. This is excellent. Excellent news. White women and preferences galore are now seeing who is really the problem in the Black community, because they're getting the same abusive, emotionally unavailable, and deceptive creatures that Black queens have had to settle for centuries. This is reminiscent of the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez a little bit to me, as far as, oh, you did this to me, but I'm not going to tell on you, and I don't want you to get in any trouble. He had already played with her psyche to get her to self-sacrifice. Like he said, be my Coretta Scott King and be my who is this? Michelle Obama. No, he needs somebody like a Young Miami or a Jada Pinkett. That's what he needs. I told y'all last night, I'm not putting on my Black Superwoman Save a Negro cape tonight. I also told y'all last night Megan Good should be ashamed of herself for escorting him to court every day and entangling her image up for the likes of a Jonathan Majors. But after doing some research, I saw a picture of Megan, which she claimed was for a Halloween costume, where Megan and her Black sisters dressed up as harlots with dog leashes around their necks, and they let Khloe Kardashian walk them around by a dog leash on some red carpet or some party, while Khloe Kardashian was dressed like a pimp. So I say that to say Megan Good has always been for sale to the highest bidder, and that picture is still available on Google, so it's not something I'm making up. These are all facts. So when it comes to Jonathan Majors, like I said last night, the only Black person or only Black woman who should be rooting for this man is his Black mama, because that's what she raised. But when it comes to decision day, best wishes.
Well, there you have it for me. Oh my. Julius, you're up.
This a mess. This a mess. First and foremost, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had to have my comfort food because these stories been giving me PTSD. Like, Lord, give me some comfort to get through these stories. I'm just saying. This a mess. But I'm not surprised to see all the grenades come out this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever a Black man does something to a white girl, we've seen this plenty of time before. Even if he didn't do nothing, they gonna come out, tarnish his name, things like that. This ain't a surprise. Now she messy too. That's also known. She need to go to AA. I pray she get better with her addiction. And Megan, go back to your husband. Leave this person alone. I understand you grown. You in charge of your own autonomy. Sis, I get that. Go back to your husband.
Don't send her back to that toxic ass man.
Well, she need to go. I don't know. She need to go count something because this ain't a good look. Not a good look.
That's the picture you talking about. I remember that picture when it happened.
And I would have dragged
Black women
Khloe
with dog
Phil.
leashes. Black women with dog leashes around their neck while some white woman with a pimp hat on walking y'all around. Ain't that something? Oh, Megan, shame on you.
For filth.
Ooh, all right now. There we go. Thank you, Julius. Chanel, I'm gonna bounce around a little bit on your line. You're up.
I don't know. I think that to me, this is good that it's coming out. I'm glad that whoever this man is and this woman is, or I don't know if both of them are public figures or if it's just the Mr. Majors guy that's a public figure, that is such a bigger figure that it could actually be, I don't know if this clippings or that's on YouTube that you guys are following or if it's on TV, but I'm glad because then people can see both sides of it and they can hear, the evidence that's been submitted. And from what I remember you saying, Diva, is something to the effect that she has proof on her in her text message chain of this man doing manipulative things and very narcissistic things to control her. Like narcissists are real. They are so good for being like, I'm going to do something to myself.
Right.
It's and people fall for it all the time. I've met so many in my life and I'm just like, wow. So on one hand, I'm happy that it's playing out because for the people in the world, and there's many of them who don't believe her or don't believe him, when you actually have things that are, provable, then it strengthens your case. Because, like I've said from the beginning, a lot of times people don't believe you. They want to know everything about everything. And if you can't give that to them, then something is amiss or somebody lying. So if it's against him and it proves if these text messages are actually real, and I don't know how they verify that because I know you can change them and whatever. Maybe they got it from the phone company. But if it's all legit, then that's good for all of the people who probably have been dragging this lady and, you know, whatever. And I don't know him or her from a can of paint, but I'm happy that part of it is coming out. So there is some validity to what she was, you know, I guess accusing him of. But I'm curious to see what I guess his defense attorney is going to bring to court, because the defense attorney's sole purpose is to poke holes in the prosecution's case. So if he has a good enough attorney, which I'm shocked too, because a lot of attorneys don't want to go to trial. You know, that's kind of what I was saying yesterday. So maybe what that says is, if we're not going to offer her something like a settlement or whatever, then
this is not that type of situation.
Well, but I'm saying sometime. Oh, because it's a criminal thing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And he would have to, in order for it probably not to go to trial, he would have had to plead to something. And the prosecution would have had to offer a plea to something first.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But that does, to me, make me think maybe the defense has something more that they think maybe can strengthen his case. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. You said, isn't it something when your past meets your future? Good mind, the choices we make. You better tell it. I ain't texting nothing. What you want? Call me. So he started talking about last night. I'm hanging up the phone. I'm telling y'all, lady, hang up the phone. You want to talk about something y'all did last night that went left? As soon as they start to say, be like, click, and don't pick up the phone again. No, they're going to hem you up. No, not me. Dustin, you're up.
I think it's
keep me out the group chat.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I think it's good that it's all coming out now, and I think he's gonna have to serve some time.
Oh my!
Because I think that he done it. So we're gonna wait and see what the court thinks. Well, I think he's gonna have to serve her a lot of time.
Not a lot.
This is gonna be an interesting case, but I think that he's gonna have to serve some time.
Well, welcome back to the good side, Dustin. We missed you.
Oh my God, Felicia, you're up. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to remind the folks, everybody. Everybody.
Okay.
This man is facing a year in jail. A year of lost freedom for a bad relationship.
Oh my.
Felicia.
There are some folks
who, for whatever reason, 8, 9, 12, 13.2 million men. Let's put another one in the jail.
Oh my gosh.
He made a bad decision. Yes, he did. Like so many. Being with partners that don't care for you, don't believe in you, and you don't like them. How do I know he didn't like her? Because she don't look nothing like no Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is that woman. She don't speak like her. She's not educated like her. She doesn't support like her. She's nothing like her.
Right.
So you knew, Jonathan, she was not that girl.
Okay.
Ooh. You brought her over the water. You brought that trash into this country.
Well,
to destroy your career.
Come on.
Because the two of you like to engage in physical assaults and violence as foreplay.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Preach, let's get to these damn text messages. And I don't want to hear no ish about no picture so-and-so took 20 years ago.
20 years ago, which of us can stand on our character and our honor and say, oh, I was so decent and so righteous. I never took a bad photo. I never made a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't about no picture 20 years ago. These are about some text messages that initially the defense did not want to bring into the case, into this trial.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard and read the back and forth, I said, they should let everything in that has to do with this case. Don't be shamed about how you felt, what you may or may not have done, because I have yet to hear of a photograph of any kind of Miss Grace having been injured, harmed, brutalized by this man, Mr. Majors.
Mm.
All through this story, we have bad text. Does anyone recall the text where she said, I'm going to the judge to say that's not true. You didn't strangle me. Let's not forget now. She said the man strangled her initially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But she had no proof of that. She had 2.5 bad days in court. And unfortunately, Mr. Major's attorney, she made an error. And she allowed certain questions to be asked of Miss Grace that opened up this piece on previous text. I find it very interesting that she said in this one that she was hit in the head too. So she's always getting hit in the head. That's her problem. A man's freedom is on the line here. Somebody don't want you. What opinion said? Don't let a man tell you twice he don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Better
told
speak,
her many
Felicia.
times. He told her many times.
So did.
Okay, she's got a drinking problem. Facts. She got a drug problem. Facts. And she's not even, hold on everybody, a good dancer.
Oh my God.
No lies told. Come on. Hey.
Come on, Felicia.
But I, as a woman who lives in this country, because she's not from here, how many millions have died building this country, incarcerated in this country because of a bad decision with another person? And how many more have been charged and convicted because some mayonnaise-looking woman who got an issue with dope and drinking and going off with strangers and screaming in the street says, he hurt me. We got enough people in the jailhouse. We don't need another one. And I'm thanking the good Lord that none of you are on this jury.
Oh my God.
Because you would have already convicted him, sent him away, because you got issues.
Oh my God.
The color of his skin and his genitalia.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Woo! Woo. All right now. Give me some oxygen. I need to go to Wayne. Wayne, you're up.
Yeah. All I can say to the fellas, if they want to be a dog out in these streets, just remember dogs attract fleas and fleas bite.
Say that again, Mr. Wayne.
Come on, Wayne.
And then you allow
That's that old
yourself
saying right there
to be open up to these kind of problems. You make yourself available for these kind of problems. So like you said, the decisions you make. I mean, hopefully, I hate to see the man go to jail. People go to jail for worse things than that. I mean, everybody thinks that jail is the punishment. That's it. That's my 120.
Bonnie, you're up.
Hey, so I feel like you play a stupid game, you win a stupid prize,
Woo,
right?
come on.
So my thing is that this is what self-hate looks like.
Oh my.
I hate to say this, but this is what
Right.
self-hate looks like. Because the thing about it is that you can love who you want to love, but trying to make a white woman cosplay a strong black influential woman, that's not cool. Like why
That's right.
want a white woman that has black woman characteristics? Just be with a black woman. If you're over there, stay over there. Don't try to make her to be us, just
Right.
without the skin color, without the hair, without the with the feature, without the features.
Mhm.
So my thing is, if you want to be with women, mail order brides in women in other countries, that's your business. But just know that in the American system, you have to move accordingly with those types, because blonde hair, blue eyes is always going to be protected, period.
Come on,
And
Bunny.
when they start crying, white women's tears is kryptonite for the legal system.
Woo.
Like,
Oh my
be
God.
for
Come on,
real.
friend. Say
Be
it,
for real.
friend.
I'm just saying, because like, I'm 30 right now, and I've watched many fall prey to self-hate and date these other women, and now they have all these issues, jail time, their passports are being taken because of child support. Their life is in complete disarray due to their self-hate. And self-hate, when it comes to dating and stuff like this, the legal system is always coming in between. So like, you can love who you love, but just move accordingly. And clearly, the ones with the money, they don't learn from the people from the past. This story is a story that has played out from the beginning of time. We've watched so many documentaries,
Right.
of famous black male entertainers, public figures, politicians, etc. They get with these white women. They don't like their own kind of women. They put us down, but then they want the white woman to be have black woman characteristics and strength and resilience, right? But she's not built like that. And you thought you can't Michelle Obama a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm so sorry. It's never gonna happen. Like, I just feel like this is what self-hate breeds.
Right.
Like, love who you love, but if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, this is what happens. And I'm sorry, I do not feel bad if the system throws the book at him. If they find any little thing, we got to stop feeling bad for them, because if it's the shoes on the other foot and it's a black woman that was in the same situation, no one would pity her. No one would give her the grace. It's too many examples of this since the beginning of time for us to give any more grace. The blueprint has been laid out.
Oh my
The
God.
lessons have been put in books. We see it visually. We've read about them in many of newspapers. I remember as a little kid reading the Daily News with some of these similar situations. And you just kind of figure out, look, I'm not going to do what they do. If I do that, I'm going to do it different. Like, if I'm going to date interracially, I know I won't be protected by the law, and I have to move accordingly. And I need to document everything. Unfortunately, I don't know what he had going on. I don't know what's true and what's not. As it's coming out, we know that she has a drug and alcohol problem, but that's fine. And Felicia said she's not a good dancer, which I can see that for her. But what I will say is that regardless of what kind of addiction problem she has, if he did it, he's dead wrong. And they need to, address that accordingly in the court of law. But if he didn't do it and it's just them just getting in like a lover's quarrel and all those things, then, then let him go home. But it's just like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, there's too many black men in jail. But if he's another one that's harming women, period,
yes,
he gotta go. He gotta go.
Bunny stand their own business.
No shade, no tea, no shade. But if anybody hits a woman, if anybody hits anybody, they gotta go. They gotta get locked up. Kamala, lock them up.
Well, we don't have enough space in the jail to even take the people in this chat out of here.
Well, we got to build
well,
some more jail.
they didn't knock her for hitting him. So
Right.
Well, we got to build some more jail so Jonathan can have his own space.
They're going to build jails.
Hey, Diva, read Robin comment.
Okay.
Where is
They're
it?
going to
Okay.
build the jails for all the women who want to go around snatching people's cell phones and beating up on these men too. This is going to set a precedent. It's not going to just be the men. They're going to come in here and get all of you women who think it's okay to take somebody's phone, smack some guy in the face, because they need more people in order to keep this economy going. Okay, so you set precedents that I had a disagreement with my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my whatever, and this happened. And they're going to bring in your past from 20 years ago, 20 months ago, because you happen to have disagreements in text messages. Continue. That's where we're heading. Look at what's happening down there in Georgia. They're bringing in this YSL group, and they're saying based on what they wrote in their music is reason enough to charge them with these crimes.
And it is, and they need to be locked up. Yes.
For God's sake, take a step back. Just take a step back. You're talking about human beings. You're talking about
they are polluting our city. I live here. Those lyrics about killing folks, and they got evidence. Fannie ain't no fool. That's a Black woman who went to college, and she has probable cause, and she has evidence. That man, Young Thug, is linked to aiming somebody. So no, we're not going to root for his freedom. No, he need to be locked up.
I want you, as you have scrolled the internet, to find me a picture, any form of a photo of Miss Jabari's injuries.
Oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to talk about why.
Because you can't find it. You can't find it.
I don't care about finding that. I told you I'm not trying to save him. Who cares about that? I'm talking about YSL.
All right, guys. You know what? Let me bring it back in. And I say, woo, woo, woo. This is a lot. It's a loaded conversation. It really is. And I'm going to say this before I move on to the next story. It's a very loaded conversation because clearly, if you want to put your hands on somebody, you need to pay. And if you are that type of individual and we don't stop you, that's how we get these further along stories where somebody is unalive because we didn't stop you when we found out you was putting your hands on people. Yeah, Amy, it's a woo, 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 woo moment. So it's a loaded thing going on. We asked, at least I asked the other day, that when we have a victim, let's hear out the case. And this is a clear example of there is a victim and we're hearing out the case and we got to see how this thing plays out. But I do know those messages today, as it stands for a case being on trial and hearing it in court, it's like, whoa, it can sound very damaging. And to me, you know, the lawyer messed up, and that's why too, your lawyer matters. Your lawyer matters because they had sealed that. And now because of her own mess up and slip up, that information is coming out. I will say this. Once we start, you know, we say freedom of speech to understand what Felicia is saying, if I'm connected correctly, right? We say freedom of speech. But now when you start allowing, because I made a song, I did a poem or whatever, and now later on I'm being accused of XYZ, and you want to bring that poem up that I wrote. When we set these precedents, it doesn't just impact the person that is currently going through a situation. It impacts us all. So I'm going to move on because, like we said, decisions define destiny. Once they have a case study that stuff was allowed in another case, now they could go get something I wrote when I was in grammar school, or they could get my diary and say, see, she would do this because look what she wrote when she was in kindergarten. I hope y'all connecting. Let me move on to this next story, which is pretty sad. This mom, she was in the store buying groceries. She didn't have enough money for her food. all the food that was in her cart. She called someone over to take some of it off so she can take it down to a point of the bill, okay, where she would be able to pay. She had a 1-year-old daughter with her in the store in the cart. She loses it. And then she goes and she punches the woman in her face. Now she's facing jail time. She got locked up. The thing is, I think she was probably frustrated at the fact that she just didn't have enough money, yada, yada, who. But that one decision, that snap decision in that moment is causing her everything. Now, I'm sure they put the baby in diapers or whatever they did with the baby when they arrested her on the spot that day. Let me see. I hope my story pops back up there. Here she is. So a moment, a Detroit woman, 20, knocks out a female Kroger worker, 49, in front of her 1-year-old daughter. So Shelby, 20, allegedly knocked out a Kroger clerk in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. She reportedly did not have enough money to cover the items in her cart. Her 1-year-old daughter, seated in a shopping cart, witnessed the entire assault, right? So a 20-year-old Detroit woman allegedly punched and knocked out a female Kroger worker as her 1-year-old daughter watched from a shopping cart. Shelby from Detroit, Michigan, has been accused of attacking a 49-year-old Kroger worker who lost consciousness and suffered a head injury after the assault. The wild beating was captured on a nearby security cameras at a Kroger and St. Clair Shores on Tuesday. In the video, the mom can be seen walking up to the unnamed clerk and punching her in the face, sending her flat to the ground while her 1-year-old baby witnessed the incident from a shopping cart. She has been charged with aggravated assault on Wednesday and was released on a $1,000 bond. Okay. That's the pictures of it. That's her mugshot. Okay. We could see her being arrested here. Let me see if it'll play for me.
These are the things that matter. Humility, integrity, hard work, history. That's why I love the Bernsteins. They're old school. And the Bernstein advantage, that's for real. 1-800-PAUL-SAM.
Key in on the customer and clerk highlighted here. You see some words being exchanged. Apparently, 21-year-old Shelby Pelham's bridge card did not have enough money to cover what she'd rung up, looking to deduct some items, but the clerk couldn't help at that moment.
They exchanged words. The employee walked away from her. Defendant was upset and followed her and struck her in the face.
Take another look. St. Clair Shores Police Detective Gordon Carrier says one blow from Pelham and the clerk, a 49-year-old woman, falls to the ground, hitting her head.
The victim did lose consciousness for a bit and was transported to the hospital for treatment of head injury.
You might have noticed the cranky customer, Pelham, allegedly did this all in front of her 1-year-old daughter cradled in the cart, watching it unfold. This video, key to the case, obviously.
I mean, it's obviously very clear cut. There's no questions as to who is at fault here.
Police got to the Kroger store at 9 Mile and Harper in St. Clair Shores in minutes Tuesday afternoon, taking Pelham into custody, who's now been charged.
It is a misdemeanor charge. However, it is a enhanced charge of aggravated assault.
And as for the clerk,
she suffered a black eye and headaches and stuff.
Off the job, resting at home. The detective asking everyone to take an extra second this season before doing something you cannot take back.
Everybody's can be stressed out, right? And there's got to be better resolutions than violence.
We did a quick court search of Shelby Pelham. She does not have a criminal history. Now, for this misdemeanor, a judge gave her a $1,000 personal bond. She could spend up to 1 year behind bars if she's convicted. Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Just like that, a decision that is now defining her destiny. The alleged assault unfolded on Tuesday at a St. Clair Shores Kroger, where Shelby reportedly did not have enough money to pay for the items she had rung up. She allegedly asked for assistance to deduct some items, but was not helped in the moment. She can be seen standing near the self-checkout counter, talking to an employee in the video, moments before abruptly turning back and walking toward the victim. Shelby charged towards the 49-year-old staff member who was not been named as other customers and employees and her 1-year-old daughter watched. The surveillance footage captured her forcibly punching the staff, who fell to the ground immediately and hit her head. The employee walked away from her. The defendant was upset and followed her and struck her in the face, the police department said. One witness said that Shelby was screaming at the clerk and accusing her of offending her very young child before running up and punching her in the face, according to the local reports. Carrier said it's obviously very clear cut. There's no question who's at fault here. It's her. Look at this young mother. The victim lost consciousness for a bit and was transported to the hospital for treatment of head injuries, authorities said. Shelby's 1-year-old daughter, seated in the shopping cart, witnessed the entire alleged attack. Officers responded within minutes and arrested the 20-year-old mother. She is scheduled to appear in court on January 30th for a pre-trial and has yet to make a plea. The young mother could spend up to a year, one moment in time, at the grocery store, up to a year behind bars if she's convicted. She has no criminal history. The 49-year-old clerk has been resting at home since the attack, suffering from a black eye and headaches. Everybody can be stressed out, right? Officer Carrier said. There's got to be better resolutions to violence. Violence is not the answer. I think the Don gave us the tagline, keep your hands to yourself. Leo, your thoughts?
Wow, that's what I can say. Wow. Mm-hmm. You know, we in a time and an age where people don't know conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. Do I believe that the words were said between this clerk and this young girl? Yes, I do. At the same time, why has the culture turned to it's acceptable that on first blink you start punching folks out at the Kroger grocery store? Mm-hmm. It's just not acceptable behavior. I don't think that she's 20 years old. So mm-hmm. she really has not, I think, metabolized her responsibility as a mother and the caretaker of this 1-year-old child. I was mm-hmm. always under the assumption that shish boom rah 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 when you single and free, but when you are a mother or a father, there's a greater responsibility here. So I'm not about to let you get me out my character because I got to be able to take my baby home.
Come on now.
So I just, this thing of what was going on and what was said that warranted for her to get punched out, I don't know. I don't believe that it's probably warranted. Conflict resolution is a skill. And a lot of people are the emotional intelligence is zero. It's just not that serious. Even whatever happened, if she said something insulting, okay, handle that. But mm-hmm. violence is not the right answer. Mm-hmm. It's not going. What now? See, like we rewind, right? She had to pay her bond. She locked up. Social services had to get her baby. So in the conversation that was said between her and the clerk, was this warranted? If the clerk got good sense, she's suing Walmart. She's suing her. She's suing all the people. So what? So what was resolved? What happened? What did we get out of that? What happened that made the situation better from the actions that Shelby did that day, that hour? Charlamagne and God always say, you make permanent decisions out of temporary feelings. She's somewhere sitting in the block thinking, or somewhere sitting in the jail cell talking about, why am I here now again? Like, that's right. You got to get a lawyer. You got to go to court. You're going to get sued. All over what?
Whew.
She wouldn't help you when you demanded her to help you? And she said no and turned her back, and now you mad? Let's think, people. Let's think before.
or take a moment. Just take a moment. You can be as upset and as angry as you feel like you're being disrespected. You're not being represented well. You're not being taken care of because you at the store and you think somebody needs to be taking care of your issues right now, this moment. Just take a minute, take a breath. Look at your baby. Think about the fact that if I get into, this, that, and the third, who's going to be here to take care of my child?
Yeah.
Just take a moment. Just take a breath. It's not count. Whatever. Pray. Whatever you need to do. Take a moment. It's just not that serious.
Yeah, I do. I feel bad for her in the sense. Now, listen, she was dead wrong. Especially this woman walked away and then she walked after her. She was dead wrong, right?
She was.
But I'm sensing that this girl, it's the decisions we make, right? I'm sensing this girl is probably a single mother.
Postpartum, don't have the funds, embarrassed, right? Embarrassed.
All of that. Still doesn't warrant you punching somebody in the face and knocking them out and they hit the floor and all of that. Because if that lady would have hit her head wrong on that floor and been unalive, for what? In my opinion, you're up.
Okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Mm.
And I'm saying that to say we don't know what people are going through. And it's okay to say, hey, I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to your doctor now, they used to do this little screening to check to make sure you're okay. And I think the reason why they're doing that is because there's so many people that are not able to control their emotions and their feelings, and you slip into a dark place and you may not even know it yourself. I think this is a sad situation. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one that should not have ever happened in the first place. Had the employee did her job like she was supposed to, you walked over there to this customer, saw she didn't have enough money, she asked you to take something off. Is that not your job?
I'm gonna throw this in there. In my opinion,
yeah, I know what you're finna say. I'm not condoning her actions.
No. What I was gonna say is some of them don't have the key. What I think is they need to knock it off with these darn self-checkouts. Everybody has to have the key to erase and help you at the self-checkout. Because that's why I can't stand the freaking self-checkout. If you don't put your food on the side quick enough, it'll say unwanted item in the baggage, and then people got to come over and help you. But all of them don't have the key. At least I know in Jersey, all of them don't have the key and the ability to help out. I don't know what that lady told her. We don't. But go ahead, continue.
I just think this is a sad situation all the way around. I hope that she gets the help that she needs. And she's just gonna have to suffer the consequences because every action requires a consequence. So you go out there and you do something that is harmful to somebody else, you have to pay the consequences. I just think it's a sad situation all the way around.
Yeah, it is. Whew, thank you, in my opinion. E, you're up.
So that Detroit woman must have been listening to YSL music, okay? Because this is what they talk about in the music, okay? Violence, stealing, and destruction. I guess no one cares if the kids witness these brawls in the middle of the store, not just your kid, but the other kids in there, because they see it on TV and they hear it in the music. It's a package deal. But just like with Jonathan Majors, I don't have any sympathy. I don't have any sympathy for anybody putting their hands on somebody who gets up and goes to work every day, trying to do the right thing and barely getting by. No way. These cashiers and self-checkout managers or whatever they're called are barely getting paid. And then they have to look here and check. They know Walmart full of crap, or Target, wherever this is, having all these people come up here to this self-checkout. Those people know these people stealing. And when you go up to the self-checkout and you know that people trying to steal things, if you try to confront them, the people will go off on you. Now, I'm not saying that this young lady was stealing, but I could understand why these people have a lackluster attitude and probably ready to go home. So listen, these people are talked to like dirt and have to clean up behind grown people and their badass kids. So I don't care what that employee said to that Detroit girl, because nothing matters for her to, nothing will warrant her going up to her and putting her hands on her. She knew she didn't have enough money, or she was supposed to know she didn't have enough money when she brought all that stuff up there to the self-checkout. Or is this another failure of the public education system? My mind instantly went to maybe she had no intention of paying for all of that stuff. Listen, it's lots of variables that could be true here. Secondly, we don't even know if the employee said anything wrong. I know we're all just speculating here, but we talked about this on the panel last week. This girl may have had oppositional defiant disorder. She may be bipolar. Any of those things could come into play. And even if she didn't, again, it's nothing this person could have done that will warrant you putting your hands on somebody when you're a mother and your child is right there. My first management job, I told y'all, was at Walmart. I told y'all that the other day. Do you know how many people get mad at the cashiers and swear they ain't never shopping at Walmart again and then be back the following week? This was not that big of a deal, okay? But we have groomed children in this society, in these public education systems, in these prison to pipeline situations. Parents afraid to tell their kid no, parents thinking or conditioning their child that they can always get their way, or that their feelings always matter. I'm going to tell you something my Nana told me. Not everybody gives a damn about your opinion. Fair. Not everybody cares about your feelings. If that cashier disrespected you, what's more important? Is it your freedom? Because like Bunny, is it your freedom? Or is it, oh, I got to get my lick back. I got to have the last word. She played herself. And the person who she really needed to be swinging at was that baby daddy that ain't nowhere to be found, okay? And ain't paying his child support probably. To hell with these expenses. Now this baby is temporarily without a mother and a father. So best wishes. I hope they throw the book at her.
Ooh. Chanel, you're up.
Oh, Jesus. I cannot. Oh, Jesus. This is why I always say emotions don't travel in rational channels. We all have them, but emotions, good or bad, can lead you to destruction, really.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a good feeling about this guy you're with, and that leads you to accepting terrible behavior from this man because you're thinking emotionally. But to me, I could be wrong because I'm just looking at what you showed, and I can't say what was going on with the lady's life, but what I immediately thought in my head is, I think everybody has probably been at this point in their life where you're having a terrible day, month, year, whatever it is, right? You got whatever you got going on in your life. You ready to quit life? Maybe you quit like that day already. And so you go to work because you got to go to work because you got kids. And that one person that knows you is like, you okay? Or what's wrong? And you immediately start going to the ugly cry because you just have so much on you. I think most of us have been there where one person says something else and it comes out of you. I'm not justifying, and I would never justify violence, unless maybe you're trying to protect your child or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
Or yourself. But I could be wrong. She could have what E said, the conduct disorder. And all of these orders are real, by the way. But I just think how I try to live my life when, you have difficult circumstances and whatever. I just try, especially when someone at a grocery store or a customer service person does something, even if they're being a-holes or whatever, I try to assume best intent, because that will take whatever your emotion was. If you try to be like, maybe they meant well, even though they did something that irritated you, you might be able to give yourself a break, a moment to just be like, let me relax. But some people, and we all know at least one person that goes from 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds. They just really don't have a grip on how to handle things. Either they've grown up and they've seen really terrible examples of how to handle things, or they just, for whatever reason, respond terribly. I feel bad for the clerk lady, because she probably gonna have PTSD. I would never want to come back and be in any role at that Kroger. I think you said it was Kroger. I wouldn't want to come back in any capacity because now I'm traumatized and I don't want to deal with anybody anymore because I could end up, like you said, possibly unalive if you hit me the wrong way and I hit my neck going down. So I do think she deserves to go to jail. I don't know for how long, but it's just sad. It's a sad thing. I feel really terrible for the worker because who's thinking that they're going to go to work today and get punched out? You know? So how do you even prepare for that? You know, you're not in the police force where they're preparing and, you know, understanding that they're going to go into some volatile situations. You're not thinking I'm the scan person and I might get punched. So you can't prepare for it. You know, you can try to de-escalate as best you can, but everybody isn't going to respond in that manner, you know? So it's unfortunate, but I do hope she goes to jail and I do hope she goes for a little while, maybe not a year, but, you know, a few months and she's able to think about it. And then I also do think if CPS came and removed her child, they probably put him with like a friend of the family or sister, brother, whomever. I hope that she has parenting classes and understands later how, because now I'm wondering, and I always think this, if you have this behavior in front of the world, what are you doing at home? You know? And to me, as a social worker, my first thing goes to what is this child witnessing? What are they going through? Now it's you said like a really young baby, right? Like a year. So, you know,
that's right.
They're probably not going to remember this, but at the end of the day, you never know. So I would have them check out that, but it's sad to me. That's it. That's all.
Ooh, Wayne, you're up.
Well, I guess today I'm going to be Gary Grace. You know, and it has to be a road to redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That was unfortunate what happened to the white lady. And I'm going to be real clear, the white lady. It was unfortunate. And yeah, it was that young lady's fault. But how many times these Karens then got away with attacking black people, calling the police on black people that live in the neighborhood, all of that. Okay, this woman doesn't have a criminal past. She got a clean record. Okay, and as far as like lawsuit, hell, if the woman didn't have enough food money to buy food, how's she gonna give some money for a lawsuit? So that's ridiculous, you know. But instead, always talking about, you know, instead of jail time, since she has a clean record, she doesn't have a history of doing this, you know. Okay, she made a mistake. Well, let's have a path to redemption. Okay, maybe some anger management classes and some other things. See what's going on in this woman's life. Okay, I don't know how many times black men have gone to jail for white women's kids. So now a white woman gets assaulted, and now, you know, do the white women come to the black women's aid like that? You know, it was unfortunate, but it happened. And there has to be a road to redemption. That's the only reason some of us still sitting up around here. Some of us know better than her and done things. So if they have some kind of, there's grace and there's room that this woman doesn't have to go to jail. Okay, I'm not saying she doesn't have to have a record of what happened, but if there's some kind of road or that the system that can push her towards, you know, being a better person in society rather than going to jail to be a worse person in society. Why we always got to fill up the jails?
I'm gonna throw this in there, Gary Grace, because she put her hands on somebody.
I understand that. I'm not saying I'm not giving her saying that, you know, that she wasn't wrong. Yes, she was. It was a crime. But all I'm saying is that if there's some kind of grace in the system that says, you know, ma'am, okay, we can give you a year in jail. but you have a clean record. You don't have a history of doing this. This is what we're going to impose. Okay, not jail time. If it's some community time, we need to get you in some anger man. That's all I'm saying.
But the role
people can't go around
redemption is for the girl. What about the victim? What does she get?
She works at Walmart. I'm sure she's gonna get something.
Oh my God. Woo! Julius, you're in the building. This is rough. I didn't know this was gonna be this rough. Woo!
I love
you, Wayne.
I was raised in the mantra of,
I got my seatbelt on, Diva. I'm just saying.
I was raised in the mantra of I won't start nothing. I don't start none, but I'll finish it if need be. Listen, if that person was to lay hands on me first, I have every right to defend myself.
Excuse me though, Julius, the clerk was knocked out though. She laid flat out.
Oh, so it was a strong hit then. Oh, she need to do some time.
Well, she probably did the right thing by laying there, so she wasn't hurt more.
You're going to stop.
Wayne,
You're going to stop. You know what? You know what? Here's the thing.
I cannot.
Here's the thing. Because of your choices, you can't come and take your anger out on me.
Exactly.
You had the baby.
Yep.
I feel for you.
But that doesn't.
The baby father may not be around. The baby father may not be around. You don't have enough money. I feel for you. But that don't give you the right to get so pissed at me that you gonna come knock me cold out and I'm here working doing my job.
Exactly. And it's just there is a major, and I'm gonna say it, a major lapse in the mental health epidemic in this country, and we refuse to address it. Postpartum depression, all of it is such a dang stigma. And the stigma. I mean, yes, I am sorry that this woman lost her baby. She is depressed. She is grieving. Honey, you should have went and got some therapy until you felt yourself started to heal, even though there's probably no time.
No, hold on, Julius. We adding a whole lot of stuff to her situation that we don't even know about. All we know is she went to the supermarket and didn't have enough money. That's all we know.
And why couldn't she be married, her husband at home, and she wasn't able to get in
that's
contact with
even
him?
more problematic, though.
Yeah, he need to be the one stealing, not her.
Yeah, that's even more problematic, though.
He wasn't stealing. What?
No, she wasn't stealing. She was trying to get stuff. See, that's why it's better to have the actual people.
Wait a minute. She was
she was just simply in the self-checkout. And you cannot take items off your bill yourself. That's why I don't like self-checkout. We're not meant to be workers. So anytime you got to do something wrong, you put it over there before you were supposed to. It's the computer stops you. So now she realized she miscalculated. First of all, she got the baby. She probably was distracted. She was probably throwing stuff in the cart. Didn't realize I only have $40 and not $50. Come on, Amy. You need an override card.
And somebody got to bag this stuff.
Yes. Everybody mute for 1 second. So, and you got to call the people over to take this stuff off. Right? So all I'm saying is I'm keeping it simple like this and saying this. It is not right, no matter what your situation is, to come out and take it out on me at my job where I'm working at. I'm sorry that you don't have enough money. I'm sorry that that is happening to you. I'm sorry you called me over and wanted me right away. The girl was already hyped up because she was mad that she didn't have enough money for her food. So I'm taking it as no matter what was going to be said to her, she was already emotional. Because here I am, I got my baby, and I don't even got enough money for all this food, and I got to make decisions. What am I going to pick back and what am I going to take?
Oh, I misheard. My bad. I misheard.
Yeah. So she's thinking about all of that. She had a lot going on. But again, our decisions define our destiny. Dustin, you're up.
Hear me, David?
Yes.
This is very sad, and I don't think she does. I think she deserves a little bit of time, but I think that people need to be more generous and offer to help people when they need it the most. And I don't see that woman offering to help her. She could have offered to help that woman out a little bit, and I think that people certainly need to start helping out people when they're struggling. So I think that they should both get a little bit of something.
Yeah. Listen, people needed quarter nickels, dimes. I needed some change sometime way before I started, with the debit card all the time or whatever the case may be. Everything depends on what's going on.
I'm just saying that she could understand that she could have helped her. Diva helped her take her stuff off the paper.
Got you. But we don't know what that woman said to her. She might have said, I'm not the one that helped you. We got to wait for Susie because she got the key. We don't know.
Well, how about this, Diva? Let's just take the self-checkouts out and get rid of it so we don't have this issue again.
That part, boom. Felicia, you're up.
Okay. I would like to hear some resolution other than people being incarcerated. I agree with Wayne. We need to talk about how we support one another. And I'm not talking about somebody who lives across the country. I'm talking about your neighbor. I'm talking about maybe families at your children's school. How we extend grace before we get to these kinds of places. I am quite confident that I'm not the only person who ever went into a supermarket and fell short.
Come on now.
But this woman had something else going on.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, as you said, decisions that define your destiny.
Woo.
So in that moment, she made a very, very bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw her struck this woman. And that woman hit her head on what looks like a cement or concrete floor or something.
Come on, you talking.
So I have empathy for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to hear the conversation be raised to the next level, other than locking people up, because jail has never fixed, corrected, made better anybody.
I'm with you. I'm solely riding with you on that train. I'm with you.
Thank you, Leo. Because I'm beyond frustrated. Doesn't tell you where my spirit is right now. Disappointed. I can't even tell you how devastating it is for me to hear every answer is someone needs to be locked up. If we took a poll, most of us would have reason these days to have been locked up. But it's not changing her situation. And that little baby looks like she can't even walk yet. $1,000 bond. Yes, there is something called community service, going into, mandated therapy, parenting classes. If she isn't employed, getting some kind of skill where she can get a job. Maybe she needs social services.
Felicia, it's called restorative justice.
Thank you so much.
Meaning you equal out the scales on both parties, on both the one that was offended and the one who offended.
Absolutely. And for the woman who was struck, great empathy for her, because you're at work, you're at a job where you're on your feet all day, hearing a complaint here and a complaint there. And I'm so sorry it happened to her. But we can do so much better than be sending people off to this economic thing called a penal institution. We do not get better in there, folks. Our lives don't get, flourishly restored, as Leo said. So I encourage many, especially during this season, to extend some grace. Because it may very well be you one day that needs some grace, some understanding, some kind of compassion. I'm done.
Appreciate you
Thank
for
you,
this.
Alicia, for saying that.
I appreciate everybody. Is this not an easy conversation? Bunny, you're up.
I do apologize for being way off. Like my class has driven me crazy, but I do apologize for being way
It's
off.
all right, Julius. It's no problem. Bunny, you're up.
So, I don't want to be that person, but having like outside etiquette starts at home.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be, I'm not like, I don't know her family situation, but it's like, how do we not know that she has been raised in a broken home? And now she's raising a child in a broken home because they literally, her family clearly hasn't given her the foundations to conduct herself properly and teach her how to walk away from situations. I remember growing up, and you hear this a lot with parents, where they say, if like a child's getting bullied at school or somebody in the neighborhood's bothering them, and they tell them not to back away from a fight. If you don't beat them up, I'm gonna beat you up, right? So they grow up to become these people in the street that are out here ready to just, exert dominance through violence. And, when you have that bad foundation of like, look, I have to literally, in a literal sense, fight for my life. You get these situations where it's something so trivial as not having enough money in the store, and the clerk is getting frustrated because you're shuffling, you don't have enough money, you're standing there, they want to take a whole long line behind you of customers, and you guys start going back and forth. Now, it's one thing to curse out the clerk and then walk away versus hitting the clerk, and she gets knocked out because she hits her head, and she could possibly have died from, the impact. Because
Come on now.
some people, they get knocked out, and 20 minutes later they get picked up, they go to the hospital, and they are pronounced dead. So my thing is, for her, she's learning the hard way, but we have to put things in place for younger children to learn from these things.
Yes.
They need to learn early, to move with logic and move strategically with good intention. And not move on emotion when you're outside with people, with things you can't control. You can't control everybody else, but you can control yourself.
Better talk.
And how you react to things, right? The lady could have even went so far. The clerk could have went so far and called her the N-word, right? You curse her out, or you pull out your phone and record, or you record, so now you could have her on blast if she says something super crazy like that, and she keeps going, and then Walmart will deal with it, right? Because it's bad press. But instead of doing that, putting your hands on her was just not the way to go. I'm not saying necessarily jail time. I would say anger management classes and conflict resolution classes and community service would be the way to go. I wouldn't say necessarily jail time, because she doesn't have any priors, right? And she's 20 years old. She's a young mother. She might be going through postpartum. So in this case, it's like the easy answer is like throw her in jail. However, I would give a young woman, a young mother, grace, But then we also have to talk about the entitlement of not all, but some young mothers, because it's been times where I've been in the supermarket, Walgreens, or another store, and a single mother is short, and they look around and expect somebody to front them the rest of the money. We are struggling out here. The economy is bad.
Right.
That happened to me like 3 weeks ago. I kid you not. A young single mother didn't have enough money at CVS. I was right behind her, and we're all waiting in the line. And she's looking around thinking that me and everybody else gonna help her pay for it. Eventually somebody came forward and did it, but it's the level of entitlement with some of them, not all of them, not in this particular situation. Like, we could go on, I could go on days and days about this, but I would ultimately wrap it up as my main points is families need to teach their children from early to move in logic and not emotions, and to be strategic with good intention. Be careful be careful how you deal with people outside. Don't keep your hands to yourselves. And if they do these type of things, they shouldn't get jail time, and maybe anger management and conflict resolution.
I appreciate
Teacher kids to grow up to not be entitled.
I appreciate you, Bunny. Thank you so much. Lakeisha, thank you so much for this super chat. I truly appreciate you. We are not afforded the same liberties as white people. It's not right, but it's reality. Stop making excuses for poor behavior. Our youth are angry and disrespectful. They have no value for life or work ethic. The convo should be why and how we can improve it.
Lakeisha is right.
Yeah, it's a loaded conversation, right? It's a very loaded conversation in the sense that we have so many dynamics going on here, right? The fact that she's a young mom, she's probably a young single mom. She didn't have the money. She got upset at, I think, her own personal situation and ended up taking it out on an innocent worker at the job. I've worked a lot of those type of jobs. I worked retail for a major portion of my life. And sometimes people feel like they could treat you any old kind of way because you are a worker. They don't know how to talk to you. They come out the side of their neck, and the way that they approach you, they say things, and because they say things to you, and it's insanely crazy. Right now, I got a poll going on to say, do you think she should go to jail or not? Right now, the yeses are about half, 52%. There's a lot of things that need to go on here, and it probably needs to go on simultaneously. But there's also studies that show when people don't have consequences, a lot of them repeat that same behavior over and over again. This ain't deep making this up. There's a lot of dynamics here. And yes, I have been in a store where I left my whole wallet home and didn't realize till I was in the line. They rung everything up. I looked in my bag and said, holy crap, my wallet is home. Okay. But I didn't black out on the people. I told the girl, listen, I left my wallet home. One time somebody paid for my stuff. And I was begging, can I get your address? Can I get something? Because I was very nervous too. Because not only did I leave my wallet home, forget about the card to pay for my food, I didn't have my license. I was more afraid about driving around without my license than I cared about the fact that I wasn't able to pay for my food. Now, I was pissed at myself because I was like, now I'm going to have to go home, come back. And I was, saying, can you put the card on the side? Because I'm going to be right back. Right. And then one time I left, but I did have a card in my car. And I remember I was like, oh, I could go get this card, come back and, pay for it or whatever the case may be. But what people got to understand, your problem you're having today, it shouldn't impact me. There are people that come to work angry. You got angry coworkers walking around angry, mad, pissed off, and they taking it out on you. It's not right. And I pay it forward more when I go to Starbucks. Starbucks has this thing though, that if you go through the drive-thru, you can even do it when you're inside. But Starbucks has this thing where you go through the drive-thru and somebody will pay your bill in front of you. And then when you come, they're like, oh, the person that just left paid for you. Then you're like, oh, okay, I paid for the person behind me. As long as it ain't $50 or something crazy like that. But, so, I mean, but then there's some people that they don't have it either. They barely making it too. So now here she is, her one decision, she's getting locked up. Diapers or whoever came to take her baby. Her poor baby don't know what the heck is going on. It just could have went a different way. And I think part of the conversation maybe we'll get out today. Take a moment, breathe. I have had many people in the store, workers, talk to me sideways, and I had to talk to myself in my head. Just today, I had to return these pants to Zara, and the guy was asking me all kind of questions about why I'm returning them, this, that, and the other. And I just to be funny, I was like, but y'all ain't asked me all these questions when I was buying them. Because I answered his first couple of questions. Then when he proceeded to have like 10 more, like I stole it, made up a receipt, it was $35. And I couldn't fit them. I bought the wrong size. Now, truth be told, I knew I shouldn't have got a small, but I did. Because I identify as small, and that's the size I got. And when I got home, I couldn't fit them. I had to take them back. Anywho, I understand the conversation with this. The poll is going so far that, yes, she should get locked up. But I do hear what y'all saying. And I do believe that since she is a first-time offender, that some grace should be going her way. Grace in terms of, community service, something like that. But what she really has to understand, y'all can look it up. I'm not going to pull it up because I want to get into my next story. There is a man that punched a man in a Home Depot, was an older worker. He hit the floor, that man died. This girl, that woman could have died when her head hit that concrete.
I remember that story, Diva.
You remember that story, Diva?
Yes, I
do. True story. So now, because you lost your stuff, somebody dead. Somebody's family member. This woman has rights too. She's a family member. She got family. She was just trying to work. Who knows now if she can go back to work? Come on
this
now.
Is why we need tough consequences, though, Diva, because you just don't know how you're going to affect the next person and their family. This is not something to be taken lightly.
That part is not. And I feel for her. She needs some resources. But at the same time, too, at some point, now, my family, they came from, oh, you want to do grown things, and then you ready to be grown. At some point, you gotta live up to the decisions you made.
Uh-oh. My mom always told me, she said, if you ever get locked up, I'm not coming to see you. I'm not coming to get you out. You got to deal with it on your own. She would always tell this to me, my older brother, and my older sister. And she would tell people this all the time. She said, if you do anything stupid in the streets and y'all get locked up, I'm not coming to help you, bail you out, anything. You're going to have to figure it out. And I don't know you.
Oh, I thought she was talking about the baby, Diva.
No, she wasn't. No. Okay, guys, let me ease into this last story. I know you want to say something now, but I got to ease into this last story because y'all be trying to hit me up. It's Friday night. Okay. Now, this is another situation where it's sad, but they let the emotions get to them. And I feel very bad because I do understand because, their family member is missing. Give me a second, guys. It's going to look blurry at the beginning, but it will go away. All right. So just so y'all know. Let me make sure. Okay.
We're flowing at the Hinds County Courthouse. This brawl you see here erupting inside and spilling outside of the building.
Now, that melee ensuing following a court hearing involving the husband of a missing Hinds County woman.
Now, Derek Coleman attending a hearing over the violation of a no contact order before Latasha County. Coleman disappeared. Now, 3 Inside's Chris Fields tells you why the emotions were so high leading to this brawl. Chris?
Courtney and Howard, a very chaotic day in the courtroom. The hearing today was not about Latasha Coleman's missing persons case. It was a trial where Derek Coleman attempted to appeal the conviction for violating a no contact order against his wife. But after the judge's ruling, raging temperatures ended in multiple arrests.
These were the sights and sounds at the Hinds County Courthouse Thursday morning. From punches to slamming one another on the ground, WLBT cameras were rolling both inside and outside the courtroom as the brawl spilled over outside, interrupting a nearby press conference. The fight started just outside Johnny McDaniel's courtroom after both families were dismissed following the hearing. Derek was in court for violating a no contact order filed against him in 2022. After hearing both the prosecution and defense, Judge McDaniels granted the City of Jackson's motion to dismiss Coleman's appeal, stating that the evidence brought before the court had not been properly filed and was not a part of the records. The matter will be remanded to the Jackson Municipal Court. Though Derek Coleman has not been charged or linked to Latasha's disappearance, family says they believe he knows where she is. They say the lack of information frustrates them even more. After the trial, the 2 families were dismissed. But as both parties were standing in the lobby, words were exchanged and the fight broke out, even leaving a minor with a bloody nose. Hinds County deputies were on the scene, doing all they can to de-escalate the chaos, but it got so bad they had to call for backup. When things did settle down, several people were handcuffed and arrested.
Now, according to Sheriff Tyree Jones, 5 people have been arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. He says they are currently being held at the Hinds County Detention Center. I'm Chris Fields, 3 on your side.
New video obtained by Fox 13 News.
Okay, let me just go and give you a little more detail about this story. This young lady went missing around the same time that Carly Russell's story was happening. So a Detroit woman, oh no, that's the wrong story. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back to the right screen here. Sorry about that. There it is. All right. So family brawl and body slam each other outside a courthouse in a dispute over a woman's disappearance, okay? The members of 2 families punched, kicked, and body slammed each other outside a Mississippi courthouse as they fought over a woman's mysterious disappearance over the summer. The families of Derek Coleman and his wife, Latasha Coleman, were at the Hinds County House in Jackson, Mississippi, Thursday morning for a hearing for Derek Coleman, who is thought to know where the missing Crump Coleman is, his wife, okay? The wife, Crump Coleman, 46, a prison correctional officer, was reported missing by the family on July 19, 2023, after she was last seen around 7:30 p.m. local time in Jackson. Derek Coleman was appealing a 2022 conviction in which he was found to have violated a protective order to have no contact with his wife, according to the news. A court adjourned. Members of the 2 families got together in the lobby where words were exchanged before people began to push and shove each other, and eventually punches were thrown. Hinds County Sheriff deputies and court officials broke up the fighting, but as the 2 groups spilled outside, one woman could be seen kicking at a male, leading to another melee. Video outside the courthouse showed. The unidentified woman's instigation led to another round of punches being thrown, as well as a law enforcement officer tackling a man down the stairs. All the fighting was caught on camera as local news crews were covering the hearing inside the court, along with an unrelated news conference outside. Following the fights, one minor was left with a bloody nose and several adults were arrested. Deputies arrested 5 adults and all are charged with disorderly conduct and being held at Raymond Detention Center. Okay, now that is the young lady that is missing, and that is her estranged husband. During the hearing, Judge Johnny McDaniels ruled Coleman violated the conditions of his bond while dismissing the appeal, remanding the case to municipal court. Latasha Crumps Coleman's relatives may have started the brawl as it was possible they didn't understand McDaniels' ruling, believing it meant Derek Coleman would be released from jail, court officials told the news. Coleman has been behind bars since October. Crump Coleman's family suspected foul play may have been a factor. They also believe her case was swept under the rug and out of the national spotlight because her disappearance came several days after the Carly Russell hoax disappearance in Alabama. Russell gained national attention after she disappeared on July 13th after work, with friends and family claiming she pulled her car over to help a child wandering on the side of a highway. She reappeared on July 15th at her family's home. But when detectives began asking Russell questions, her story quickly fell apart and she admitted to making the whole thing up. She was convicted of filing a false police report in October and faces up to a year in jail. While no arrest has been made in the disappearance of Crump Coleman, no suspects have been ruled out, and Coleman's name is high on the radar, Jackson Police Chief Joe Wade told the outlet. So here it is. The waters were muddied with this case because of Carly Russell and her situation. You got families from both sides in the court, and the emotions got high, and a brawl broke out. And now there are 5 adults in jail, and you got a young teenager with a bloody nose. Leo, your thoughts?
Okay, me diving for the mute. Okay, so this is also tragic as well. 95% of cases where there's a lot of questions within this for me. I want to know what was the status of this relationship that she had with her estranged husband. Has there been any DV reports? Has she filed any reports? What was the reason for her leaving? Because 95% of the time it's the partner, be it female, male, male, female. 95% of the time it's the partner. These families are fighting because this woman, I can't remember, I hear Crump, but this woman has a family that she's missing, and her family feels like he is involved. So they know some things about their relationship. And with the fact that this Carly Russell situation was going on, dim the light for a real situation that was going on. This is a problem. This is a major problem. The foolery that this particular situation brought into the media dimmed the light for a real situation where somebody may be getting away with unaliving somebody. She is still missing. And these family members, one family feels like, okay, the ex don't have nothing to do with it, so stop running your mouth. And then her family feels like he has everything to do with it. And now they brawling at the courthouse. They're brawling at the courthouse. She's a beautiful woman. It is sad. It is unfortunate. But because of the dynamics of the DV and the things that happen in relationships, I wouldn't doubt if he has something to do with her being missing. I need more information to rule him out. And I don't know, because the thing that happened with Carly was in Alabama. This particular incident is happening in Mississippi. So they're not sharing the same law enforcement resources. So I need to hear more information about the investigation of this woman being missing. And I think when things become sensational because they were showing off at the courthouse, showing out at the courthouse, that's why it's been put on the radar and we're talking about it now. But I still have more questions before, because the spouse and the partner is always the first person I would look at. So I don't know what the law enforcement is doing in Mississippi, but I do have a lot of questions. I really do. And look, emotions get higher when the people don't have an investigation, they don't have a plan, they don't have answers, people don't understand what's going on, and emotions get high.
Yeah, they're saying it was a distraction because her case ended up being kind of worldwide, right? We all heard about it. Every state was involved in this Carly Russell situation. And it was because she saw the white baby on the side of the road. So they're saying that when the world was worried about that, they swept their family member's case under the rug, where it could barely get any coverage because nobody cared because the world was focused on that one situation right now. It's almost like if I can do a correlation where one moment we heard something sensational about Will Smith, but then right after that, the Diddy situation came out and the Will Smith thing was yesterday's news.
It was. We heard no more about it.
Right. And I think they're trying to say it was a situation as such because that distraction kind of was out there. And they probably wouldn't be so mad if it was a real situation. But they say that darn distraction was out there. Now our family member, they're heightened because their family member is missing. Thank you, Leo. E, you're up.
So I see this in two parts. First, what did you say yesterday, Diva? Street justice.
Yeah.
When the legal justice system is taking too long, where here we go. Mm-hmm. Another man of the 13.2, and this family wants to know where their loved one is. And they think that he knows where she is, and he probably does. This is how families show up because we not rolling over and accepting this. Y'all think Kiki mama did something to Darius. No, this is how families show up when you have done something to our daughters. Okay, this man's family should be ashamed of themselves for even showing up and saying anything other than I'm sorry and we will do what we can to help. His family has a predator on their hands and they probably should have stayed home that day. Mm-hmm. How do we know he is a predator and a habitual lawbreaker? Well, the woman tried to leave him and said, don't contact me. And he was so aggressive and persistent, she had to go and get an order of protection. And they had proof that he violated the order. So we don't need to hypothesize as to, maybe he didn't do anything wrong. No, he did something wrong and he has aggressive tendencies. He's there for a reason. Mm-hmm. Second, Mississippi, shame on you. They need to quit trying to blame Carly Russell in Alabama. Isn't this is two separate
I agree with you, E.
Come on. It's a deflection. The city just needs to say, we haven't finished combing through the traffic cam footage and the surrounding videos from the shopping plazas. I mean, what did the cell tower say? Where was the last ping? This Carly Russell thing lasted for 49 hours. And this was back in July. It's December. That was 5 months ago. So why haven't these folks found this lady yet? So you're telling me Mississippi cannot walk and chew bubble gum at the same time? Mississippi is full of cow manure and trying to blame another Black woman as to why they haven't found this Black woman. And the one person who I believe knows where she is the one sitting in their jail.
Whew. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I feel it's law enforcement. It's law enforcement in Mississippi. They have not been on the ball. If most of the time it's the partner and they should have been looking into it. And the truth is they ain't done nothing.
Ooh, Julius, you're up.
I want to know more information. Mm-hmm. Law enforcement is slow in Mississippi. I have family there, so Yeah, I know. Yeah, but the family of the alleged defendant
Mhm.
having zero compassion, empathy, and all of that. Case in point, the same thing like the Laundry family. No compassion, empathy.
Mhm.
They need to be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. Because one family's emotion is already on alert.
Mhm.
So that family was just like, oh, oh, really? Okay. Even though it doesn't make it right. Because it's not bringing their loved one home any quicker. And so I think they need to put their energy to where the alleged, you know, responsibility falls. And that's on the restraining order person who violated it.
Mhm.
Now, we always heard if a person violates a restraining order, just like that story with that girl and her sister, and unfortunately, they ain't here today. So that's why I'm going to yield back because it's not looking too good, but I want to know more information.
Got you. Dustin, you're up.
Joyous on this one. I needed to know more information about it. So it is a very sad situation, and I believe Carly Russell deserves everything she's getting out of it. I think that she shouldn't have done this. I think that she did get more time because I think I think that she needs to get more time, and she took a lot of people away from other cases, and they didn't get the time that they deserve. So that's all I'm going to say.
All right, Dustin. Thank you. Felicia, you're up.
I have a question. When you were reading, did you say that this woman who's missing is a correction officer?
Yeah.
So she is law enforcement. And probably a lot of people in her family are.
Mm.
It's unfortunate. I don't recall who said it, but when we were discussing the Kiki Palmer situation, they were talking about how these domestic violence situations bleed out to the immediate family.
Yeah.
And I think this was a real good example of that.
Mm.
Everybody knows,
Oh.
but nobody knows.
Mm.
I'm in it. I'm emotional. So and so said this. This one gets kicked. That one gets hit in the head. And I think we all collectively need to stop volunteering for jail time. We got to take a different approach.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Lakeisha, thank you for the super chat. I was born and raised not too far from Jackson. I lived there and have much family there. If you want to get away with a crime, do it in Mississippi. And Jackson is the capital of Mississippi. Oh, this is very sad.
No lies told.
And I feel it. I get the emotions. Wayne, you're up.
Yeah, I'm with E on this one. I don't think Carly Russell situation should have had, too much to do with this other lady's situation missing. You think this other woman that was missing, you think she was probably the only woman in the United States missing? No. I mean, so you think Carly Russell took her story took it away from everybody else? I'm sure about 10, I don't know what the statistics are on black women missing, but I'm sure somebody else could have the same story. It was that Carly's was nationwide, so they didn't talk about mine here, So I mean, whose fault is it that Mississippi doesn't have the tools or don't know how to get the tools to work, if they're searching for somebody? And I'm wondering, did the Carly Russell situation get so much press because Carly Russell was black, or because they thought a white baby was out there. I don't know what was driving. I know eventually the girl was missing, but I don't know if they established. I mean, I think they eventually established there was no white baby. You know.
I hear you. Whew. Bunny, you're up.
This is just a sad turnout of events. Like, my heart goes out to the family of the woman, the correction officer. And lately there's been a spike in the families of victims, like, fighting either the defendant while he is sitting in the courtroom,
Facts.
and or the families going at it, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be in person at the courthouse. But there's a spike in it because people are tired of waiting months and years for these cases to be solved. And then a lot of times they don't get solved, or the person gets off with probation or like a few weeks or months in jail, and people are frustrated. That's not the best way to go about it, but I can see why they would do that. Doesn't make, doesn't necessarily make it right, but I can see people these days are fed up and they're tired. Like, I feel like post-pandemic, people have I see post-pandemic people have, that's my dog. But post-pandemic, people have been a little bit more, like, they care less about, like, respectability, politics, and etc. But I think the partner did it. I think the partner has a lot to do with it. And I feel like Carly Russell should not be blamed, should not be the catalyst of why they can't do a proper investigation in a whole nother state for another Black woman. Like, why can't Black women be a case by case situation like everybody else, and get extended the grace like everybody else, versus it's just like, if one's lying, everybody's lying. So we're not even going to bother with this second case or this third case or this SA case or this grape case or missing case. Like, it has to get to a point where the justice system isn't even built for us anyway. But as a community, in a larger, in a macro sense, as a group, we got to get to a point where we have to demand that everything be done by a case by case situation. It's like, because when you talk about cases like this, because they posted this on the Neighborhood Talk and on site, on Instagram, and you have mixed reviews. You have mixed reviews on, what did she do? Where did she go? Maybe she's lying. And it's 5 months. I don't think someone goes.
Oh, come on now. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But no, I hear you. Now, I know you telling what the people would listen. This is how the streets feel, right? You know what's sad? Usually in cases like this, especially in this time period, unfortunately, it ends up a lot of times not being a good news, right? And I do believe he did it, and I do believe he knows where she is or where he put the body allegedly. And it's like, they're probably also just saying, like, give us a break, tell us where she is so we can at least give her a proper burial or whatever, right? And they're frustrated, but they're also, so I want to say this, the police department didn't say that, didn't correlate it to Carly Russell. The family did. The family, because they're emotional right now, right? And they're feeling that since their family member went missing around this same time that the whole country was engrossed in that situation, they're feeling like their family member's story got swept under the rug. So them being at that court, their emotions were already high because they have no idea where their family member is, but they see this man who they know their family member was suffering some type of something from, or else it would have never been a protective order, and now she's missing. So they was heightened already. And then they're even more heightened because you're looking to the other side of the court, and his family members are 10 deep.
And they have no compassion. And the fact that it's like, even if the family of the victim, like they were like starting it and they were up because they were upset, y'all should just walk away, because the thing about it is that the connection that they have because they were married, like it's a thing where you just, if you're not expressing some kind of condolences, move around. Like the fact that you guys are throwing punches shows the lack of humanity that family has, the one of the man. Like I wouldn't, if you're on the quote unquote guilty side or the defendant side, it's not the time to fight the victim's family.
100%. And I think the other piece of it that was in that article is that they believe the family members did not understand what the judge said. So in their mind, they thought this man was going to be released, and it pissed them off even more. And then that's part of how the melee started and went down. It was just a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of high emotions. It was a lot. And unfortunately, maybe the court's got to see, okay, who are you in this courtroom for? The victim that's missing. Okay, y'all go over here, and we have all of these security in between them, and the other family go over to the other side. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. In my opinion, you're up.
Okay, so luckily I know about this case. I've been following a lot of the cases that came out around the time that Miss Russell decided to make her hoax. And a lot of these women have not been found. And it's because I know y'all hate to hear that Carla Russell didn't affect people. It did. Because a lot of government agencies put in their time, money, and energy looking for this quote unquote woman that had got kidnapped off the freeway. And in turn, she kept the lie going, which infuriated law enforcement. And then we had kids playing around that time on the phone, talking about they being kidnapped on the highway, or they was being kidnapped from this place and that place. A whole bunch of circumstances that caused these law enforcement not to take us seriously. As a result, we had one woman found on the side of a road, burnt up, because nobody was looking for her because of Carly. Please, let's not forget that this lady wreaked havoc. This is a young girl who was looking for attention at the time, wreaked havoc on our whole community. I do feel like Mississippi should have done more, because they had 3 missing Black women at the same time. And they didn't look for neither one of you. Atlanta had 2. And they didn't find any of them alive. You make a bad decision because of the skin color that we have, it affects everything. They look at us differently. Also around this time, they talk about bringing out an ebony alert. Why should we have to have an ebony alert? It's not fair.
Whew. Thank you. In my opinion, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. Tough conversation tonight, but we had it. I'm going to close out with a feel-good story. It's a really good story. Hang in there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen right now. You got a kid, no arms, making no excuses, and not trying to be the victim. I get it. You're short of cash. I get it. You're a single mom. I get it. You have this baby. Don't make excuses. Figure something out. So listen, guys. Thank y'all for being here. It was Friday night trending topics. I appreciate y'all. If you didn't hit that button coming in, hit it going out. And I'll see y'all next time. Have an amazing weekend. Don't make excuses, guys. Figure out what you got to do. See you next time. Good night and goodbye.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.